Hello everyone, welcome back to LoFi Yoga, and today I'm going to be reading from a book called The Memory Collectors by Neville. Ev makes a mountain fold to meet its twin in the center of her water bomb base. She has an animal origami book from the library, and she's learning every animal, page by page. It gives her something for her hands to do. She can't use tools anymore. She asked Jack, her foster dad, if she could build a birdhouse in the garage, or even just hammer some nails into a board, but he said no. He waved his hand with the missing third and fourth fingers in the air and said, "This is what happens when kids get around tools," and added that carpentry isn't a hobby for a 10-year-old girl anyway. So instead, she sits in the gazebo in the backyard, creasing and folding. The gazebo is quiet, and the paper is clean and empty, a safe escape for her hands. Above all else, Ev must keep her hands safe so that she can also keep her sister and herself safe. Noemi, as always, is running around the yard, singing, dancing, and getting dirty. She's given up trying to get Ev to play tag or hide and seek with her, although she can sometimes convince her to climb the cherry tree. When she has tumbled all of her after-school energy out, Noemi hops up the gazebo's 3 steps and sits across from her sister at the table. Ev makes her last fold and flips the form over, pushing it to Noemi. "Crab," she says. Noemi wrinkles her nose. "Looks like a frog to me." She's right. The shape is too simple. Ev makes a mental note to find a more challenging book. She flips the page. Next up is a crane. She picks a sheet of purple paper, Noemi's favorite color. While she folds, Noemi strokes the crab absently. "Did Mama do origami?" Ev feels a hot jolt, as she always does when Noemi brings up their mother. It's like being poked with a live wire. "No." "I think she did. She made crabs and put money inside." You're thinking of the red envelopes for Lunar New Year. A memory intrudes of kneeling on the plush green rug on her bedroom floor while Mama presented the red envelope with both hands and a little bow, oh so serious except for the bright warmth in her eyes. Ev pulls her hands away from the paper she's folding and clasps them tightly between her thighs. "Oh." Noemi falls quiet, but Ev stays on guard, her body tense. She can see by Noemi's frown that she's absorbing this information and formulating new questions. Noemi is 6 now, and she's starting to forget things from before. In some ways, it's easier that way. She doesn't cry for Mama at night anymore. But she asks questions. They come when Ev isn't expecting them, and they always hurt. Maybe Ev should have given Noemi a red envelope this year. If she doesn't keep up family traditions, they will be lost. The trouble is that while Noemi struggles to remember, Ev has been working hard to forget. She has packed her old life away in a box in the back of her mind and does her best to keep it there. It's too hard to separate the good stuff from the terrible stuff. One always leads to the other, and all of it feels bad. So, for the last year and a half, she's been practicing, telling everyone who asks, "I don't remember." Caseworkers, therapists, nosy foster parents and teachers, rude kids who've heard the rumors, even Noemi. I don't remember, until they stop asking, until it's true. Before Noemi can ask more about the red envelopes, Ev begins to fold again, talking as she works. "When we're grown up, we'll live together in a big white house. A new house, clean and perfect. Will we have our own rooms? If you want." They share a room at Jack and Elsie's. Many nights, Noemi ends up sprawled out on Ev's bed, squishing Ev up against the wall. "I want us to be in the same room." "Okay." She folds a neck, then a tail, and we'll have lots of trees in the backyard. And a treehouse. Yep. She forms the crane's head. If she keeps her hands busy, it's easier to say the words Noemi needs to hear. "We'll live together forever. I'll always take care of you." "No, we take care of each other," Noemi replies with conviction. "Yes." She folds out the wings and presents the purple crane to Noemi. "We do." Her sister still claps her hands when she's excited. Ev hopes she never stops doing that. She's relieved to see the frown has vanished from Noemi's face as she makes the crane swoop and dive through the air. "I'll always be your son." Are you sure you don't want to come? Noemi combs her fingers through Ev's hair, gathering another lock into the tight braid that winds around the nape of her neck. I gotta work. Joan's making spinach lasagna. You know I can't on weekends. You'll be back on Monday? Ev can't hide the anxiety that tightens her throat, making her voice higher than usual. She'd like to ask Noemi not to go at all, but she knows that's silly. I promise. There's a smile in Noemi's voice. No road trips for a while. She fastens the end of the braid. Well, at least you'll look stunning. Do I need to worry about any ruffians attacking you tonight? No, says Ev. She hopes. When she unwrapped her market bundle at the end of the night, the brooch wasn't there. Either it got lost during the struggle, or Hangdog got his hands on it after all. She suspects the latter. At any rate, she doesn't think he'll show his face again tonight, not after the job Noemi did on it. Her bigger preoccupation is Ken. She knows there will be consequences for last night's fight. Back on her bike, alone and heading toward Chinatown, she can't avoid her anxiety any longer. It's not the first time her table has attracted trouble. At the beginning of the summer, 2 customers got into a shouting match over a conceited watch, and only a week later, a drunken tussle broke out over a passionate satin slip. The slip tore, security was called, and Ev has been extra careful ever since. She knows Ken only lets her stick around because Vivian likes her. She also knows Vivian pulls a lot of weight in that partnership, so while she expects she'll have some apologizing to do, maybe even some groveling, she's not expecting what she finds when she arrives at the market. Her usual table isn't empty, waiting for her. Vivian's covered in rhinestone-encrusted cell phone cases. Her heart sinks. She knows what this means. She rolls up, bicycle gears clicking as she coasts to a stop in front of Vivian. Hey. Vivian keeps her head down, pretending to focus on counting her cash float. Viv, what's up? The woman's hands pause halfway through a fan stack of 5s. She glances at Ev with a twist in her thin brows. Ev's heart sinks further. Talk to Ken, Vivian says. Sorry, Ev. She finds Ken unloading boxes from the back of his pickup. He turns to Ev with his hard face on, the one he usually reserves for belligerent customers. I can't rent you space anymore. Your business brings us too much trouble. I'm sorry about last night. It won't happen again. Ken shakes his head. Security's given us 2 warnings. I can't risk it. Ev glances back at Vivian. She's pretending not to listen. Heat flashes across Ev's eyes, and sour bile rises in the back of her throat. She tamps down the anger. I paid you for the season, she says. Ken pulls a wad of 20s from his pocket and thrusts it at her. Vivian doesn't look up again. She keeps her head down until Ev turns her bike around and walks away. She wheels through the crowd, clenching the cash, scanning the other vendor tables. Maybe someone else will sublet space to her. Keep breathing, she tells herself. The sound of scratchy radio static alerts her to the security guard keeping pace to the right of her. Same guard from last night, same smirk on his stupid round face. I'm going to have to ask you to move on, he says, as though she's some lurking shoplifter. She wants to punch that smug little smile. This is a public space. I'm not doing anything wrong. Sure, he puts his hands up in mock supplication. Just so long as you're not selling. The association has banned you. If you make any more trouble, I'll have to call the authorities. I get it. She pushes past him with her bike. As soon as she passes the street barricade, she swings her leg over her bike and starts pedaling. She rides without thinking, out of Chinatown, across Hastings, over the railroad tracks, and down to the waterfront, rolling over the grassy lawn at Crab Park to the beach. Not a big beach, but it's enough. A bit of open space for her to breathe in. She sits for a while, kicking at the sand, building a little pile of good skipping stones. She's still not great at it, but she's improved since those afternoons at the river with Noemi. On a good day, when the park is quiet and the ocean is calm, she can usually get a few triples, maybe even a quadruple skip. She pulls her shoes off and rolls up the cuffs of her pants. It always seems to work better when her feet are in the water. She works on skimming her pile down, one stone at a time, and breathing her way calm. Owen finds her as the sun begins to sink below the high-rises. She's collecting another pile of stones when she sees his silhouette, spine straight, big handlebars, round helmet, bumping over the tracks. He's got something large stuffed in the crate on the back of his bike. A paper bag dangles from one handlebar, and her stomach rumbles. She picks her way over the wet pebbles with her shoes in her hands, finds a log to sit on, and waits for Owen to join her. I thought I'd find you here. Owen sits down, passes her the bag. Croissant? The bag is greasy and crumpled and stuffed with pastries. Ev breathes in the butter scent. She plucks out an almond croissant with a smushed corner and takes a huge bite. So good, she mumbles. Cast-offs, courtesy of Faubourg. What happened at the market? Vivian didn't tell you? She was avoiding me. Ken said you don't work there anymore. I'm too much trouble. Ev stuffs more croissant in her mouth and chews, considering how much to tell Owen. My sister came home. The one that ran away from foster care? That's as much as Owen knows about Noemi, except Noemi didn't run away from foster care. She ran away from Ev. She's 18 now. She wants to live with me. Will you say yes? Of course. She's my only family. Noemi is the only person who understands Ev, who truly knows her. It's strange. When Noemi was gone, Ev got used to being alone. Now that she's back, Ev can see she survived by numbing herself to how shitty she felt. She doesn't want to go back to living that way. Besides, Noemi doesn't always realize it, but she needs Ev as much as Ev needs Noemi. They look after each other. They always have. What's she like? Loud, says Ev. Gorgeous. Impossible to ignore. Is that why you look so tired? She can hear the smile in his voice. I look forward to meeting her. I need a job. What about Harriet? You said she offered you a job. No. She's quite interesting. No. Well, Owen continues, unruffled. What about the Richmond night market? It's much bigger. They don't want me. There's always the flea market. I know. Ev sells at the flea market in the winter, but the money's not as good. In truth, she makes a fraction of what she could get at the night market. The flea market takes place in a big red warehouse next to the train station. People mostly go there for cheap deals on old tools and computer parts. At the flea market, everyone wants to haggle. They come in sharp-eyed and pass by Ev's table of oddities without even looking, intent on their mission. It's outside of the downtown core, so it doesn't attract the wandering tourists and half-drunk suburban partiers who are Ev's bread and butter. I could put in a good word for you at Haito. Miko was just telling me they need another server. Do you have any restaurant experience? Ev doesn't have any job experience. She only knows trash. She looks away. Owen's bike is parked beside hers. The thing in the back is a torso, a half mannequin with long red hair. Nice find, she says. There's a bin full of them near Granville and Nelson. I might go back with my trailer, see if there are any left. He glances wistfully at the mannequin's head. I've got a trailer, she tells him. Let's go. There's another binner trundling down the alley when they arrive, a guy Ev's seen before. He wears a wool blanket tied over his shoulders like a cape, and he's always muttering to himself. His shopping cart is piled high with garbage bags stuffed with cans and bottles. Hello, Eddie, says Owen, because Owen knows everyone by name. Eddie grunts in response. All the good metal's gone, he mumbles as he passes. Ev peers down the alley. Some store must be renovating. A long, low bin is piled with wire shelving, wood scraps, and occasional limbs. Another helpful scavenger has cut the chain on the bin's padlock, and the lid is propped open with a chunk of drywall. Ev doesn't even have to climb in to hook an elbow and yank out another torso. Eddie looks well, says Owen. He's not limping anymore. I wonder if he received some medical attention for his arthritis. How do you know these things? I talk to people. Right. I'm terrible at that. You're better with objects, Owen concedes. People make no sense. People hide their feelings. They obscure and deceive. They change in a moment from one emotion to another. People are too complicated for Ev, always have been. Ev knows Owen is as complex as any other human, but he doesn't act that way. She knows he has an ex-wife and son who don't talk to him, although he's never burdened her with the backstory, and she's never asked. She only knows about the family from an offhand comment another binner made once. Probably there's a motive behind the way he looks out for Ev. He's compensating for her shitty relationship with his kid or something, but he doesn't force his complicatedness on her like other people do, with their unspoken expectations and needs that she can't decipher. Hanging out with Owen is easy. By the time their recovery mission is completed, darkness has settled on the city. They've stuffed 3 torsos into Ev's trailer and tied one more onto her front basket. As they head towards Owen's house, a breeze raising goose flesh on her arms and legs, Ev catches herself smiling. A good find, even if it's not for her, always cheers her up. Owen lives in an old house with peeling paint. On the wide porch, with its sagging patio legs, a couple slumps into each other on a worn sofa, legs tangled together. Owen's roommates rotate regularly. Ev has never been able to keep track of them. The couple waves as Ev and Owen approach. "You want to come in?" Owen asks as they untie his bounty. Owen's house is full of junk. Art junk, but still, there are bound to be plenty of stains. She doesn't have the energy. 2 years she's known Owen, and she's never been inside his house. Maybe another time. "Well, thanks." He watches her for a minute. "I'm sorry you lost your table at the market." Ev nods. "Me too." "You'd be a good bike courier, but the money's not great anymore." Owen used to courier full time, but over the years his hours have been cut to less than half that. "It's okay. I'm not sure I'm cut out to be anyone's employee." He pauses. "I started working for Harriet, you know." "That's a bad idea." "It's temporary. I'm helping her with a special project." He pauses again. "She asks about you a lot." "I don't trust her." "If you're worried that she can't pay you, don't be. Despite appearances, she seems to have plenty of money. She bought a space to store her stuff and get organized. An old bank." "She bought a damn bank?" "Just the building." "Still, she's never heard of self-storage?" "Oh, she has plans beyond storage. Something about a museum. I'm going to help her clean it up and move her things in. She won't even consider getting rid of some of the junk that's in there. She pays well. She's good people, Evelyn." "How do you know that?" "You get feelings about objects, I get feelings about people," Owen says. He holds the pastry bag out to her until she reluctantly takes it. "I know the good ones." I'm gonna end things here. Thank you guys for sitting with me, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.